Hello, everybody. My name is Reinaldo Rodriguez. I am a candidate master from Venezuela. Today, we are going to record a video about the series title player versus club player. We are going to analyze one of the games that a training game that I played with one of my students. We analyzed some of those games in the past. It was a very balanced game, but in this case, the game have a very interesting result. Okay, I was playing with black pieces, and he requested me play a thematic training game, playing the Queen's Gambit accepted me as black because he wants to put in practice the Queen's Gambit. Really, my student is an E4 player, but recently he have been trying to switch to D4 openings with good results. And also I try to motivate him, and not only him, really all my students, to try to play different setups, because in this way the positional pattern recognition can increase, in general lines, the general vision of different positions in the long term should be something very beneficial for any chess player trying to develop that universal chess style. So, okay, well, let's start with the analysis of the game. So, as I say, d4, d5, c4, okay, Queen's Gambit accepted. Really, before the game, for sure, I was refreshing some of the variants, but most of the games were focused in hitting in this variant with knight f3, because one of the idea of the Queen's Gambit accepted is open the d file. So now after the capture on c4, black have those options to try to put pressure in the central pawn, because let's say the pawn is kind of pinned due to the trade of queens. So one of the main move in this position, and I think, yeah, is the main move on the database, is knight f3. What is quite logical, because the idea is reinforce the control of these squares to prevent the liberating move with e5. In the game, Filippo, my student, played e4. Okay, this was, let's say, the first small surprise. Usually I play e5, but in some of the reasons, online games, honestly, I didn't have good results with this variant, because after e5, okay, if white capture, this is perfect for black. After the queen trade and bishop e6 supporting the pawn, and the material is balanced with a comfortable position for black. But really, this variant with knight f3 is very annoying, because after the capture, bishop takes on c4, and white have a lot of things with knight g5, bishop takes on f7, like, because this is a kind of Italian game, or a potential kind of rear cleaver attack. So black have to be very careful. Usually the theory here continues with knight c6, short castle, bishop e6, and after takes, queen b3, with this double attack. And this position, in a practical point of view, okay, the engine says is balanced, but balance in case that black follow the complete theoretical lines. So it's a delicate balance. For that reason, I decided to play in a more classical style, putting pressure in the pawn. So after e5, knight d5, bishop takes knight c6, and now knight f3. Very accurate move to support the pawn, and also to prevent the pin on g4, because in case of the knight comes to f3, this pin may be very annoying, increasing even more the pressure on d4. So accurate move. Theoretical, knight b6, and here the main move, according to the theory, is bishop d3, to be ready to attack future kingside castle. But really, in this position, black tried to castle to the queenside. So bishop b3, keeping the bishop to square away of the knight, and also some possibilities to do some pawn advance to e6, bothering the development of all the kingside. For that reason, well, right now, really, I start to misplay the opening. I played knight before, and really this was the first move out of the database. I am delaying the development in a necessary way. here will be more consistent. Just kick the pressure here and play bishop f5 followed by e6. This is the standard setup of this position. So after knight b4, yeah, I start to think probably in some alternative like pawn advance to e6, to try to create some difficulties in the development of the kingside for the black pieces. And honestly, I was a bit worried about this move after I jumped with the knight to b4. I consider that this was a careless move in the opening phase. But okay, why continue with a3? Knight to d5, and now the e6 move at the moment are not available because the diagonal is blocked. Knight bc3, c6, okay, to square away of the knight. So short castle and bishop f5. In this position, clearly, white have a clear advantage on the kings and have to play in this sector of the board. So probably with knight g3 and f4, f5, winning a lot of space. Instead of that move directly, white trade a couple of knights. I consider that due to the advantage of space, probably will be more accurate, jump with the knight to g3 to try to do f4, f5, because the trade of pieces helps black a bit to relieve some pressure. So, okay, takes, knight g3. And here, I didn't want to give any concession in the position, and for that reason, I play queen d7, trying to keep everything under control and be able to play bishop g6 and e6, anticipating this kind of pawn storm, looking for the rook to pawn on f5. I wanted to consolidate the position with, but actually this move really is a mistake. Here probably the best is just play maybe with e6, and after knight takes, pawn takes, but in this position, white have some alternative to push the pawn to e6 in some lines because I don't have how to block this square at the moment. Probably maybe knight c7 and e6 can be a maneuver to consider, but clearly white have more space, bishop pair, and a better pawn structure. Well, I did queen d7. Now, one of the best move of the game, bishop takes on d5. This move is a move very difficult to do because, white is trading probably his best bishop for a knight and also helping black to recover some of the central control. But really, the idea of the move is to start a quickly simplification to try to take advantage later of the advantage in development, opening the c file. We are going to see the power of this move. It was very strong, really. Was a move that I didn't consider, took me by surprise, but surprisingly, the thought engine move, so with an amazing idea because it's a mid-turn or long-turn idea. Takes, knight takes, queen takes, all the move by white were forced move. And now queen b3, putting pressure on d5 and putting pressure on b7. In my initial calculations, I was thinking that with queen d7, I can keep everything under control, protecting both pawns, followed by e6 and completing the development of the kings. But honestly, really, after queen d7, white can simply continue with bishop d2, e6, take the open file, and double rooks, and black wouldn't be on time to fight for the control of the open file. Let's say something like bishop d7, rook, maybe rook c2, preparing double rooks. Well, probably I am on time to bring the rook here. Let's say something like castle, rook here, rook here. Well, maybe this position is very balanced. But here, I think after bishop d7, yeah, this move, shuffle the queen to the other flank to put pressure on g7, because in case of castle, this bishop can come to a6, creating a checkmate threat. So yeah, the advantage in development, and also the advantage is in space, not only in the center, also on the kings and on the queens. It really was dominating all the board. For that reason, also I was worried about this move as well. E6. I consider this something super annoying during the game because capture with the pawn, now this will be double backward pawns, eventually will fall because are exposed in the open file, and I have to do a lot of moves to complete the development, and this structure is horrible. So I consider that after e6 I could capture with the queen, but after queen takes on b7, I have to move the rook and the pawn on a7 is falling. So I say, okay, I am losing material there. So for that reason, I'm going to play castle. That really, I have a bad feeling for the move, but probably in a practical point of view, maybe the best to to complicate the game. But objectively speaking, it's a mistake. Bishop d2, simple move, connecting the rooks and preparing the check. King out of the way, rook to the open file, and now a regrouping move to try to start to cover the invasion squares, because to complete the development, I have to play e6, but I cannot play e6 with the queen on f5 because I will leave the queen out of the defensive zone. So bishop a5, and now rook ca. So yeah, because white create intersection point and is getting the invasion square. Here there is a beautiful variant. This is a typical situation where the strategic game is correct, the tactical ideas start to appear in a very natural way. In case of b6, here I play rook ca, but in case of b6, white can just sack and no is possible block the check with the queen because the rook will be hanging. Okay, and in case of king to the corner, uh, rook c5 to create this checkmate threat and is unavoidable. So I have to, after rook ca, okay, takes. Now here, no, it's possible for white take the control of the open file, but this pawn is falling. So queen takes on d5, e6, and here probably the a small inaccuracy. Okay, queen b3. I was worried about queen f3 putting pressure on the base of the pawn chain and keeping the initiative. A possible variant can be something like queen d7, rook c1, b6, and bishop c3. Black can try to fight, keeping a blocking on the last squares, but really is very difficult because this pawn will be a backward pawn. Inclusive, probably white should have time to do things like this and try to increase the pressure here. Black will be in a passive situation because in case of rook here, eventually the rook can be removed with an attack of the bishop. So this will be a torture for the rest of the game. Pawn of disadvantage and positional disadvantage as well. So queen b3, okay, bishop d7 to complete development, bishop d2, regrouping to support the rook c1 move, and after rook da, rook c1, queen d7, and now here queen c4. Really, this move allows me simplify the position and create a balance engine despite the pawn of disadvantage. To be on the game, probably why have to kick the pieces on the board? Maybe similar plans with bishop e3 or bishop c3, try to put pressure also in the backward pawn, but with the queens on the board. After queen c4, yeah, I can trade everything, and now I can kick the balance because the d5 square will be a strong location for the king, and despite the pawn of disadvantage, okay, the position is still balanced. So g3, bishop here, looking for the pressure on the pawn. So keeping the pawns on light squares. And now, after all these trades, okay, bishop h4, trying to put some pressure from behind, but yeah, eventually the position gets just a draw by repetition. Okay, the draw, was agreed automatically by repetition of the move. So this was a very good game. Okay, where I was on the road during a big part of the game. I misplayed the opening phase with that knight b4 move. And for that, I suffered a lot during all the game. So congratulations to Filippo for this amazing performance, and also thank you very much for sharing the game for the analyze. So really, the gap, okay, despite the rating difference, no, is too much. Also, I have to say that he is a student with a lot of talent that is making very big progress recently, inclusive winning some tournaments in his country under 1600 FIDE rating points. But despite that, to win a tournament, you need the attitude of a champion, and also, yeah, for sure, some clear strength. Okay. So, well, guys, with this analyze, we finish with this new video in the series titled Player versus Club Player. I hope you enjoy the lesson, and especially Filippo. Don't forget like and subscribe if you like the content. And hope to see you soon in another video. Bye.